Okay, good afternoon and assalamu alaikum everybody. Students are still joining and okay, so I'll start the lesson in a couple of minutes. Okay, all right. So let's start the lesson. I will keep admitting the students um, during the lesson as well. So you know that we were talking about lean production and we actually discussed the last concept was just in time or a stock control principle, and we discussed how it helps the business to reduce its uh, cost or the reduce how to reduce its wastage. Okay, and okay, or yes, we talked about this on time. We haven't talked about it, but okay, we will talk about how to reduce time in other methods of lean production. So let's talk about the next method, that is kaizen. Kaizen is basically a Japanese word, okay, that means continuous improvement through workers' participation. Basically, the word Kaizen means continuous improvement, okay, but for that you require input from workers, because workers are the people who are the closest to the work or to the job, because they do it on daily basis, so they know that what are the issues they face on regular basis. Okay, for example, machine gets stuck while performing a job, so and it requires some uh, off time, so worker knows about it, huh? It's not the management. Similarly, raw material actually arrives late, and that's why workers are late to start the production. So these are actually the issues which are not known by the management, and workers they deal with that on regular basis. That's why they are quite familiar with it. So when workers participate and they keep on telling what are the areas of improvement regarding their jobs, so management gets an idea that how to reduce the cost or the wastage which is resulting from the production process, and even the time as well. I told you earlier, supplier actually, so for that, no, continuous improvement is only possible if you keep on looking at your production process or the method of delivery on regular basis. Fine. Okay, just a minute. I mean, you are again using different names, so you have to come up with your own name. So there is actually a person with Zoom user. Now this is not a name actually. You cannot use this because you have to come up with your registered name. Later on, I have to mark your attendance as well. Na? How can I come to know that who is actually there in the class? So you need to inform the person. Zoom user is there. Okay, I am admitting Zoom user right now, but then I uh, will ask him to leave. Okay, so Mr. Zoom user, you are there. But you have to come up with your own name. You cannot use the same name. Zoom user, Zoom Kambar, Kambar, you have to, yes, you have to mute your mic. गाने बाद में सुन लीजिएगा आप. All right. So Tuba, your mic is also open. So just mute it. All right. So um, yes, I was saying, Mr. Zoom
सर वो
user.
पीछे किसी ने बुलाया थे गलती से. मैं
Okay, all
क्लास
right.
ले रहा हूँ सर.
सर हाँ हूँ, नाम चेंज कर लिया है.
कौन है?
अबीहा.
Okay, all right, Abhiya, fine. So, okay, fine. Uh, okay, now coming back to the topic Kaizen. So, continuous improvement is only possible when you keep on looking at the production process on regular basis, and for that, obviously, employees' feedback is required so that whatever the issues they face on regular basis, they can be addressed. Okay, and why to address? To reduce the cost of the business, to reduce the wastage resulting from the production process, or to reduce the time taken to complete the job. Right? ये बिलाल आप लाइनें नहीं डालनी आपने स्क्रीन पे. So please control your emotions. All right. Then workers know more as they are closer to operation. मैंने आपको बता दिया, explain कर दिया. I just discussed it with you. Does not require one-off improvements in efficiency. Now, one-off improvement means that you spend a lot of money at one point of time to make a big change, right? So it might be difficult for the management as well because it may require a lot of money. Secondly, it may take more time as well, and it may frustrate workers as well, or it might make workers more insecure that now they are not able to use that new production method. So, in Kaizen, there is no one-off improvement like this. So there are no disadvantages like that. So there are small improvements with the passage of time on regular basis to make a big change. So rather than making a big change altogether, Kaizen actually focuses on making small changes to improve the production process, okay, to make it more efficient and to achieve what? Lower cost, reduce wastage, and reduce the time to complete the job. So this is done, and for that, obviously, continuous interaction with the workers is required. So again, that is an advantage as far as Kaizen is concerned. Then series of small improvements can result into a big improvement in efficiency. I told you earlier, and efficiency means I told you earlier when the word efficiency is there, it means we are talking about reduction in cost and reduction in time taken to produce it. So it means this is directly linked with the concept of lean production because that is actually the main focus of that concept. All right. Now, conditions necessary for Kaizen. One is, okay, how can we reduce time? One, I told you earlier, like for example, uh, uh, you have a supplier and supplier always delays the supply of raw material. So the worker who is responsible to receive the raw material can tell it to the management that yes, there is a problem with the supplier, so we need to change the supplier, okay, or we need to do something else so that the raw material reaches to the factory area at the right time. So this can reduce the time required to complete the job as well. Obviously, the raw material when it will reach the factory right on time, so the working process will start at the right time as well. So it will reduce the time taken to complete the job. All right, what are the conditions necessary for Kaizen? Now, the conditions which are necessary, they are one, democratic culture, and you know what is a democratic culture, right? Democratic culture means where employees are given freedom to give their feedback. You understand because you did study that in AS level as well. So I'm not going to discuss in detail. And we discussed in the earlier slide as well that employees' participation is required for Kaizen because they are closer to the work. Okay, team working again. This is essential because in Kaizen, you are actually finding out the areas of improvement, right? So that you can make smaller changes continuously or on consistent basis. For that, you form teams in each department, for example, okay, and they look uh, for 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 the ideas which can improve the production process further. So and obviously team teams involve various workers which are part of that team, so they support each other to find out that area, the area of improvement, so that efficiency can be achieved or it can further be improved. Otherwise, without team working, it's just not possible, because it's not only the one employee in the department who will be telling the management. You know that it's actually the input of all the employees who are working in a particular department. So obviously, they are working as a team in that department. Let's say finance department or operations department. Okay, so or because if we specifically talk about op- operation department, so again in operation department there are lots of activities, and employees, different employees are involved in different activities. Okay, as groups, so they actually know what how can they improve the production process. So that's why team working is required, because one employee alone cannot suggest the management any kind of improvement. It's empowerment. Now, give power to employees as well. That, what does it mean? That give the decision making power to employees, so that if they feel that there is a margin of improvement, and by changing the method slightly, efficiency can be improved. So employees must be given the power to take that decision. Remember, okay, and they do not need to consult the management about it. So that sort of power, especially that power, must be job related. It should not be related to the whole organization, because employees have no idea about the rest of the organization, but they exactly know what is the issue with their own job or their own area of work. So they can suggest better how to improve it. So they, and so now they can take that decision as well. So without consulting the management, or even after consulting the management, they can take the decision to improve the performance. Yes, Bilal, your question? Bilal, you are raising hand.
सर
You can
empowerment कैसे होगी?
empowerment ऐसी होगी कि you actually give decision making power to the employees as far as their job is concerned. It's not the power to take any decision throughout the organization. It's on only job related. That employees, they actually know better, in fact, far better than other people as far as their job is concerned. So as soon as they find a flaw, or they find out a way to improve the performance, so they must be able to take that decision. They must be able to use that method, okay, without consulting the management, because now they have the power. So this will, and they will gradually improve their performance, because they will keep on making changes as far as their job is concerned, right? So this is how they can do it. Like, I can give you an example. For example, if a worker works on three different machines, okay, time and again, so and these machines are not placed in the right order. Let me explain you that, so that you will get a better idea. Now let's say, for example, this is a factory area, right? This is the area where the worker is working, okay, and there are basically um, three areas where worker has to move. This is one, this is two, all right, and this is three. Fine. Now, this is actually, let's say, machine number one. This is machine number two. I'm actually making it very simple. Machine number three. Now, worker, because worker um, moves in that area on regular basis, so worker knows that it takes more time, because from machine number one to two, okay, all the way from one end to the other end, and then moving back to machine number three, it takes more time, right? So obviously, it actually lowers the pace of the work, and worker takes more time to complete the job. So if the position or the placement of the machine is changed, like if machine number 2 comes in between machine number 1 and 3, now it becomes easier. How? Because obviously if 2 is there, so this is easier. Now there is no back and forth movement, because here you see that worker is moving forward, right? And then worker is moving backward as well. So more time is being taken by the worker. So now if the worker is moving from point 1 to point 2, and then point 1 to point 3, and then let's say there is a after that there is a warehouse, or let's say there is a storehouse there, and now later on the goods are delivered to that warehouse after that. So there is no reverse movement. So obviously it will save time as well. Secondly, if let's say there are more than one worker who are performing their job, so because there is too much back and forth movement, you can see that, right? So what will happen? They can collide with one another. Like one worker is moving from that side to this side, all right, and the other worker is might be moving from this side to that side. So they may collide because obviously this worker is moving in that direction, this worker is moving in that direction. So they may actually use the same area. So obviously there are more chances that goods may get damaged, and obviously it will increase the cost and wastage that may come out from the production process. So this is one way, okay? And employees can take the decision because they know that the machines they are not in the right order, so they can place them in the right order without consulting the management about it. So this is one example of Kaizen. All right. Now moving backward. So this is empowerment, right? Now applied throughout the organization. So the Kaizen should not be like that, that it is actually be practiced in one of the department of the organization, right? So it must be available sorry, it must be practiced throughout the organization, because you do not need to, the business does not want to achieve efficiency in one of the department, because in that way the overall cost will not go down. So you want this to be practiced throughout the organization. Otherwise, Kaizen may not get the maximum benefit to the organization in reducing the cost, wastage, and time. Why? Because all departments are interlinked. So if it is not practiced in all departments, so you know that one department is very efficient, but now is waiting for the other department to complete the job. Let me explain you that as well. Let's say let's say there is one department, one stage or department, whatever. Let's say this is one, okay, and then there is another department who is dependent on the output of the first department. This is department 2, right? Now let's say department 2 actually practices Kaizen, right? Kaizen is being practiced here. So they are efficient, fine, but they have to take the goods from department number 1. That is the problem, because if it is not practiced in department number 1, the goods can be delayed. So when goods will reach to department 2 late, obviously the maximum benefit of Kaizen cannot be achieved even if department 2 is practicing it. So it means both departments need to practice it, so that maximum of time can be saved and cost can be reduced to the maximum level, and same is the case with the wastage which results from the production process as well, right? So any question regarding this, you are most welcome. So this is how you will be able to develop them. Why these conditions are
सर
important? Yes, Shadib.
सर डेमोक्रेटिक कल्चर एक दफा फिर से जरा समझा दें, और साथ ये जो आखिरी वाला पॉइंट है।
Okay, all right. Just a minute.
और सर मुनज़्ज़ा कह रही है उसे आप क्लास में एंटर करते हैं, वो आपको मैसेज कर रही है, आपने देखा नहीं है शायद।
मैंने देख लिया, वो मुझे इसने बताया था.
ओके
All right. So, Zain, you are a newcomer, right, in my class? I haven't seen you before. Mohammed Zain. Mohammed Zain, can you speak up? Do we know each other? Mohammed Zain, because if you won't talk, I will remove you from the class. Because I do not know you. Who are you? Please explain. Mohammed Zain, I am asking you. So you are not responding. All right. So it means better to remove you then. Then if you won't respond, there will be a problem. I do not want to remove you, but this way I have to remove you this way.
सर इलम की तलाश में है बच्चा.
Sorry, कहाँ पर है? All right, let me ask him later on, because the management has not informed me. Why is he there? Okay. I think Munazza is struggling to enter the class, because I actually admitted her many a times, but I know what's happening. Maybe the connection issue. All right. Yes, Shazib, answer to your question. Democratic culture is where employees are allowed to give feedback. So it means if there is a problem there in a working process, so employees can tell what is the issue there in that, and it may help the organization to achieve the overall efficiency, right? This is democratic culture. So all decisions are not taken by the top level management. Employees are also responsible to take certain decisions which are related to their job, so that quickly or timely decisions can be taken and efficiency can be improved. This is democratic culture. Applied throughout the organization is that all departments must practice Kaizen. It should not be limited to only one department, because if one department practices it and others do not, then the maximum efficiency cannot be increased, or it may not give any benefit to the business at all, because all departments are interlinked. If one is efficient and others are inefficient, so there is no point one department being efficient, because overall more output cannot be produced, because all departments must support each other to produce more output or to reduce cost and wastage. That is the issue. Shazib, got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. So moving onwards, Kaizen. Now evaluation, okay, of Kaizen. What is it? Some changes require sudden action. Now, while writing an answer in the paper, let's say you write there is one advantage, that there is one of improvement, okay, and not a lot of amount is required, not a lot of time needs to be consumed, okay, slight improvements will be there with the passage of time or on regular basis, and eventually you will lead to a big change finally, right? This is Kaizen all about, right? But you can say, however, this is an evaluation, right? And you know that what is an evaluation. However, because I am taking the same point, evaluation can only be of the same point for which you favored earlier. Remember, so it should not be a disadvantage only. Okay, so now you will say, but problem is that sometime you require a certain action. Okay, like for example, now your technology is completely out of date, the technology which is being used in the organization, and now the need is that new technology needs to be installed all of a sudden, like in a few days time. Now that one of improvement may not work, like if you say, okay, we will replace few machines first, then we'll replace some other machines with a new technology. Now if you do this way, obviously your product will not be standardized, the quality will vary, and the workers will be confused as well, because now you are using the old machinery and the new technology together. So this is just not possible. So in that case, that one of improvement in Kaizen may not work, especially when you need to take a certain action, and it is actually compulsory to take that, and you cannot go by it like taking small decisions on regular basis and then leading to a great change.
सर ये काइजेन क्या है?
Kaizen, Kambar, आपको बताया था Kaizen is a method to achieve lean production, and Kaizen means continuous improvement in the production process. और Kaizen से आप अचीव क्या करते हैं? You are able to reduce your cost of production, you are able to reduce wastage, and you are able to reduce the time taken to complete the job. तो ये पीछे मैंने Kaizen तो बताया है, मैंने डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करके भी दिखाया था, एक एग्जांपल दी थी मैंने, आप मौजूद नहीं थे कंबर?
सर मैं था लेकिन आंखें बंद थी मेरी उस वजह से.
हाँ, आंखें बंद थी आपकी। वैसे नॉर्मली आंखें खुली होती हैं, दिमाग आपका बंद होता है। आज हैरानी की बात है, आपका दिमाग खुला हुआ, आंखें बंद है। एनीवे, ऑल राइट। सेकेंड इज Authoritarian managers will resist. Now, authoritarian managers, who are those managers? Ali Tarar, who are authoritarian managers? Do you know?
Sir, the top level management who believe in autocratic style of management.
Yes, very good. That's right. The managers who believe that all decisions must be taken by them because they feel that they are the more experienced people
सर
who take the right
सर
decision. Yes, Ivan. Yes, Ivan.
सर काइजेन की जरा फिर से एक समराइज करके थोड़ा सा बता दें
You were not there earlier?
सर आई वाज देयर बट मुझे समझ नहीं आया था सही से
Okay, okay, all right. I will explain
मुझे
you.
भी बोलें
Sorry, Kambar, you are special, na? So that's why, I mean, you are different from other students. You have a special place. Okay, so don't you worry. Faizan, I
Thank
will
you, sir.
explain that, but at the end of the class, right? So be there.
थैंक यू सर
So
Thank
I'll
you, sir.
explain you. Authoritarian managers will resist. So why they resist? Remember, because if there is a change going on regular basis, managers will have to learn that as well. What is happening? And you know that what happens? Managers are not responsible to take all decisions. Now you know that in Kaizen, workers are given independence and the power to take decisions. So it means now workers will not uh, go to the manager for any kind of approval. Okay, now workers will be taking their own decisions. So managers who want to have power or who want to enjoy power, now their power will go down. They won't be able to enjoy the same power because now workers are not asking them to perform the job. They are taking the decision on their own. So they may retaliate or they may not like it or resist. They may say, no, 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 this is, we can't actually practice Kaizen. There is a problem there because there is a fear that they will lose power, right? So that is one of the problem there as well. Loss of output due to frequent meetings. Again, because you involve workers as well in Kaizen, because workers actually tell about the issues which they identify during their job. So every now and then, if workers are called for a meeting, obviously there will be a delay in the output as well. Workers won't be able to concentrate on their own job because they are busy in the meeting. So that is again one of the problem. All right. Now, conditions for the adoption of lean production. If now one is finance, obviously you require, and why finance is required? Because improvements will be made on regular basis, right? Employees will be taking decisions on regular basis, and when you know that all changes doesn't matter whether it is a major change or a minor one, you require finance, right? So that is one thing. There needs to be finance there all the time with the business so that they can use that for lean production. So it's not only about Kaizen. Okay, then we have management of change. Again, management of change means that, for example, if a change is taking place in the organization, okay, now for that you need to take the people into confidence. Now, people here means workers or employees, because if change is taking place, for example, and workers are not clear what is happening, they will be confused. Okay, they will get scared as well that now maybe they will find it difficult to perform their job. Okay, so management of change means the people who are expert in bringing a change in the organization. Okay, because they have experienced that change happening in various organizations. In fact, they were part of it, so they are hired, okay, maybe inside the organization or sometimes outside the organization, and they actually uh, take that or bring that change to the organization. So there is a smooth transition from one condition to another, and that is what we call change. When I say change, change means taking the organization from one condition to another, right? So it can be change of technology, it can be change of production methods, it can be style of management, okay? It can be the approach of the workers, how to handle the working process or the tools or the equipment. So for that, you require expert people who will be telling people that yes, there is a change coming in or coming through, and you have to uh, follow it. And those people who are responsible for the change, they will keep on telling the people about the benefits of that change, because you know that change always comes with uncertainty. So people may get scared when they are uncertain how to go about with their job, right? So that's why that change, that management of change is required. You need to manage change. It means there should be a smooth transition from one point to another point. And for that, you need to tackle the workers' questions as well, workers' problems as well. Take the workers into confidence, tell them beforehand the change is going to happen and what are the benefits, and do not talk about the drawbacks, because obviously there might be some drawbacks as well. Like let's say new machines or new technology coming in, so there will definitely be layoffs. Some workers will be asked to leave the job, but do not focus on that. Focus on the positive side of it. Okay, this is how they do it. And take the workers into confidence. Now what does it mean? आपका एग्जाम हो रहा है ना, आपको डेट शीट पहले दे दी महीना पहले, अब आपको पता है एग्जाम होना ही होना है, तो ऑब्वियसली विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम यू विल फेमिलियर के भाई एग्जाम होने हैं, हमें एग्जाम में बैठ रहे हैं, कुछ नहीं हो सकता, देयर इज नो वे आउट, लाइक. But for example, if a date sheet is given to you just one day before the exam, so obviously you will be agitated, you will be confused, what is that, how can we prepare it, or we were not informed. Okay, so complete uncertainty is there, how to prepare for the exam. Or even if it is given to you 3 days earlier or 2 days earlier, still there is a problem. So that is why workers need to be informed way before the change is going to happen, so that they will uh, uh, get familiar with that, they will be ready to accept that. This is management of change and done by experts who know how to bring a change in the organization. Effective forecasting of demand, again, that is required because I told you just in time inventory control. We discussed that now. In just in time, what do? We actually do not keep inventory, right? When the order comes from the customer, we give the order to the supplier, right? This is how we do it. So, but still you need to forecast it, because you need to inform the supplier whether the demand is going to go up in the future or not. Because yes, you can order the supplier late when you will receive the order from the customer, but you have to inform the supplier that now the things will be different, or the demand is going to go up, or it is going to go down, whatever. Okay, so let's say if demand is the peak season is coming, right? So you need to inform the supplier beforehand that yes, we will be requiring certain orders from you, right? Small orders and certain orders as well, because every now and then we'll be having customers. So this is how. Otherwise, if you do not forecast it well, so obviously your just-in-time inventory control system won't work, and you might end up refusing customers because you might not have enough production or goods available, right? So, or maybe if the supplier delays the delivery of the raw material, again there is a problem, because you might not be able to finish the work on time. So obviously there will be a mess then, or in fact आपकी cost शायद बढ़ जाए उससे, because you have to go for urgent orders, and supplier may ask you or may demand a higher price for the urgent order. Then expensive production processes, again yes, condition, because if you are changing your production processes, so it may require a certain amount of money, and that is expensive. Okay, I told you earlier about lean production. Let me tell you, yeah, this one, like simultaneous engineering, flexible specialism, right, and cell production. So now for flexible specialism, I told you that you actually train workers to do different jobs at a time, right? I discussed that in the last class. So यहाँ क्या होगा? It's also about machines as well. Those machines which can perform different jobs. Okay, they can work on producing different products, right? So this is also flexible specialism. So you know that all multitasking machines, or those machines which can perform different jobs, they are always expensive. So it means certain amount of finance is also required. So and even training, when you will give it to your workers, it is also expensive, or you have to spend spend lot of money on it as well. So these are the issues, the conditions which let me just reach at that point. Yeah. So and expensive production processes, they are there, right, and should not lead to job losses. If you are making changes in your organization to achieve lean production and it is leading to job losses every time, so there is a problem. In the longer run, you may get a problem. In short run, you might achieve efficiency. In the longer run, a bad reputation will develop. Good workers may not like to work in your organization, right? Customers may not be satisfied because every time your other workers, they might also switch to other organizations because they feel their job is not secured, right? And then customers will be annoyed because now every time they see a different worker there attending them, and they have to tell the worker again all the requirements. Because, for example, if there is a loyal customer who comes to the business to buy something on regular basis, and business knows about it, or that old worker knows everything about what actually is required by the customer, new worker comes in again, the customer has to tell all the things again. So, or maybe one worker
चूड़ा लगे लेकिन सारे तो सही करे तो पल्ले कसम में आवाज घंटे बाद इससे सही क्या यार मैं
Bilal, what are you doing? Bilal, mute your mic. Bilal, should I remove you? ये बिलाल लगते हैं मोटरसाइकिल पे जा रहे हैं. Bilal, are you there?
sorry sir एक सेकंड
Mute your mic, Bilal. Mute your mic. मैं remove करने लगा था अभी. Thank you.